Everyone, lessons from my mentor. This is another common question I get, and it's related to the other one I've mentioned and done several videos for. And that's about, hey, I no longer have a job, what do I do? And it's very late in the game to be able to react to that. So I dropped some videos, you can look them up, about, hey, how to build your brand. So that's the next question I get, and it happens at least once a week. And it's, hey, I think it's time for me to move on, look for a new job. But I've been in my same job for a lot of years. I haven't interviewed since I was out of college, or a very, very long time. So what do you do to prepare for the interview? Well, first, going back to my original sort of premise, is it takes 3 to 5 years to build a brand. So whether you're looking for a job now, this is just like a warning for everyone, whether you're looking for a job now or may find yourself without a job in the future, build your brand now. Again, I did a lot of videos on this, so I want to kind of get to the point. What do you do now? Well, I think you still got to work on the brand. So if you're thinking about, hey, I think I need to leave my job, I need to start interviewing, start your brand work. Figure out what is your brand, what's the one thing you're known for or want to be known for. Then make sure everything is aligned with it. Go to your LinkedIn, make sure it's aligned with that brand. Go to any of the social media that you do business related, make sure it's aligned with that brand. So that's super important. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that. There's blogs, there's commenting on what others are doing that's similar to your brand. There is producing new sort of information. There is speaking that you can do. There's a lot of different things. All right. So the next thing, obviously, you will use ChatGPT and find out what are the 10 most common interview questions for people in your type of roles. Don't look up this generically, because you're going to find Miss or Mr. America questions that aren't often asked anymore, especially of a tenured person. So find out, just do some prompting and find out what are the 10 most common questions for people that are in your situation. So you're going to find those and then rehearse the answers. Now, generally, this is number 2. Generally, always answer with evidence. So it's one thing to say, yes, of course, this is how I would deal with people that are difficult. I would sit down and have coffee with them. I would find out what their interests are, all that kind of stuff. Then give them an example. That's what's missing in a lot of interviews. I'd get frustrated. I'd interview people and they'd have the answers to all these questions, and they were like textbook answers or ChatGPT answers without evidence of them actually doing it. So a good interviewer will ask you, hey, give me a time when, tell me about it. But oftentimes it's more generic, people answer generically. So be ready to give specifics. So you should have tons of these in your mind. Like for each of these type of questions, what are evidence of how you save costs? What are evidence that you're strategic? A lot of people tell me, my brand, I'm strategic. My brand, I'm innovative. All right, give me 3 off the top of your head. Because a good interviewer, this is what they're gonna do. And you should do this if you're interviewing. They're gonna say, hey, give me an example of how you're innovative. So you're gonna give a real example. Then they're gonna say, that is awesome, give me another example. And then you're gonna give them an example, and then they're gonna ask 3 deep. That is the true test. Anyone can answer the generic, anyone can give 1 example, fake 2 examples, but it's hard to fake 3 or give 3, unless it's part of who you are, your brand. So that's why you really gotta work on it. So have examples. So even if they don't ask for examples, when you give them examples, they'll be like, dang, and it's a differentiator for you. The third thing is to have a strong close. A lot of times, there's kind of this handshake at the end or whatever, but you should have a strong close. Like, the reason I want this job here in Chicago for XYZ is because everything I've done in my career to this point has led me here. And this is the 3 things based on all my research, based on everything that happened in all the interviews I've had. These are the 3 things that I would work on. Now I'm open to modifying those once I hit the ground, but here's 3 things. And that's really good. So that brings me to, I think, point number 4 of things to do. The 4th one, and I just touched on it in my answer there, is to have done the research. Like over the top, again, because you want to differentiate yourself and show that you've got something that other people don't. How much effort are you really putting into this? Are you just showing up and then just sort of winging it? Or what do you know? So if I was interviewing about this particular, the organization inside that building, I would have done tons of research that anyone could do online, but then I would have found people in my LinkedIn contacts, someone that knew people there, asked them questions. Maybe someone would connect me, not directly to the interviewer or to the people that I'd be working with, but directly to someone that works there, and you can talk to them and like, hey, I'm interviewing for XYZ, and I'm just kind of curious about what you're doing here or there. And so you take all this data, and when you interview, when you answer a lot of the questions, you then utilize some of this data. So you could say, and I spoke with, ABC person and 123 person, and they'll be like, oh, wow. Or you say, I've done all this research, and I know historically this has been the trend, but in the last 2 quarters, the trend has gone down. And here are some of the pressures that you're feeling, and here's what the analysts are saying, or here's also, what's going on a macro level with the government and policy, how that's impacting or will impact. So you've got to show like your interest by having done the research. So you have the brand, you do the deep research, you come up with a lot of examples to the standard questions you're probably going to get, 3 deep. And I'm telling you, you will outshine everyone. But here is another one that most people do not do. So this is number 5. So number 5 is send a handwritten thank you. Everyone will send an email. It'll get deleted. And people say, oh, that's nice. But if you send a handwritten thank you note, it's a huge differentiator. And then you make it personal. And you include the administrative assistants who helped you along the way. Now, the best way of doing this is just buy a 10-pack of thank you cards and you bring them with you to the interview. When you are done, like if you have multiple interviews or, if you have multiple ones, I would do them right after each one if you have time. Otherwise, you're going to forget, but make them highly personal. Joe, thank you for greeting me and taking me to my first appointment. I was kind of nervous and you helped settle my nerves. I'm telling you, Joe is going to share that with all the other administrative assistants. He's going to share that with his boss. It'll go viral in a sense of something that's handwritten. And it's the same if you do it with everyone you've met. And again, specific, because they're going to huddle back up at some point and talk about the candidates. And someone's going to say, oh, this candidate, Ed, sent me this card. It was really nice. Someone else, oh, he sent me a card too. It just shows thoughtfulness. I mean, people could fake this, obviously, but most people that would try to fake it probably aren't going to take the time to do it. So it shows thoughtfulness, care, attention to detail. It shows civics. So there's more, but I want to keep this under 8 minutes. So those are like 5 things, maybe 6 I gave you, that will really help you in an interview situation, differentiate you from competition. And plus, the things you're going to learn may tell you you don't want to work there, right? Because you might do that deep research, talk to someone in the organization, be like, I'm not sure I want to get involved here. Or in your research on the macroeconomics may not make sense, that trouble is ahead. So, really think about it. And then think about, man, do I want to go this place or maybe make something work where I am today? That's always an option. That's another lesson from my mentor.